Good evening from New York. The Overton window is the term that describes the ideas you can pitch in public without being considered nuts. Propose something outside the window, and you generally get tossed through the window. For the last however many years, though, Republicans have mastered the art of dragging the Overton window so far to the right, it's not even on the House anymore. With complicity from both Democrats and the media, that's how America actually found itself debating whether America should torture people. And now in our fifth story tonight, the man who wants to be Speaker of the House did it again today. House Republican leader John Boehner unveiled what had been billed as a major economic speech, the GOP roadmap for the U.S. economy, meaning this was supposed to be a serious speech with thoughtful, maybe wonky prescriptions that grapple honestly with the complexity of America's economic problems. Here then, step 5 out of 5 of Boehner's serious plan.
President Obama should ask for and accept the resignations of the remaining members of his economic team, starting with Secretary Geithner and Larry Summers, the head of the National Economic Council. Now, this is no substitute for a referendum on the president's job-killing agenda. That question will be put before the American people in due time. But we do not have the luxury of waiting months for the president to pick scapegoats for his failing stimulus policies. We tried 19 months of government as community organizer, and it hasn't worked. Our fresh start needs to begin now.
President Obama, Congressman Boehner, to be clear, some voices on the left opposed Mr. Geithner's nomination and his continued presence in that job, but it's with such outlandish notions that the president should fire the entire economic team that prevented the complete meltdown of the U.S. economy that Republicans lure the media into debating, well, should the president fire the entire executive branch economic team, or shouldn't he? You will not see that debate on this NewsHour tonight. Nor, fortunately, did Vice President Biden take that bait today. Mr. Biden debating instead the wisdom of trusting in the economic plans of the party that created the economic crisis in the first place and whose remedy for it now is to renew and return to the same exact policies that caused and failed to prevent it.
Representative Pete Sessions, who has their reelection committee, he said that if they were to take control of the Congress this fall, which I tell you they will not, they won't take control, that they would go, and I quote, back to the exact same agenda, end of quote, that they were pushing before President Obama took office. They think that the policies that they had in place during the 8 years of the Bush administration, the ones that Mr. Boehner and his party helped craft and sell, were the right ones. I respect them for their honesty. I respect them for stating what they think. Well, let me tell you, there are millions upon millions of Americans who saw their savings, their paychecks shrink, lost their jobs, their homes. Mr. Boehner is nostalgic for those good old days, but the American people are not.
The other steps in Mr. Boehner's plan. First, Mr. Obama is supposed to stop, quote, stop all of these job-killing tax hikes. So Mr. Obama is supposed to stop something bad, job-killing tax hikes that already existed. But where did these bad job-killing tax hikes come from? Well, Mr. Boehner created them, voting 10 years ago to raise taxes at the start of 2011, voting to do so despite not knowing whether the country could stand such a, quote, job-killing tax hike. The second step of the serious Republican economic plan, tell Mr. Obama to veto anything Congress passes after Election Day. Third was paperwork reform many Democrats already agreed with. And fourth was a spending freeze, which when Mr. Obama proposed it was ridiculed by a spokesman for Mr. Boehner. Because Mr. Boehner's target audience was small business owners, we're joined by one tonight, Elizabeth Lessner, CEO and president of Betty's Family of Restaurants in Boehner's state of Ohio. Great, thanks for your time tonight.
Thanks.
Representative Boehner claims that political uncertainty, meaning business uncertainty about what new laws, what new regulations might be coming, is to blame for small businesses in particular not hiring. Why would that suddenly be true for you during this administration when laws and regulations change with every president, within every presidency, within every congressional session throughout our history?
Thus far, it hasn't been true, at least for my restaurant group. We've actually opened 2 new businesses in the last year, and we have 2 more opening in the next year. We do pay close attention to state and local politics. Those are the types of policies that really affect us on a day-to-day level. Federal regulation really has very little bearing on my day-to-day business operations.
The Boehner solution and the Republican solution for a business like yours, like Betty's family of restaurants, in order to expand, to hire more people, is to cut taxes for the top 2% of Americans, the richest 2%. You own 4 restaurants now. How many people would you be hiring if you get that tax cut Mr. Boehner wants for the richest 2%?
Well, I don't make $250,000 per year, so the tax cut really wouldn't have any bearing on myself. In Central Ohio, I would venture to guess that most small business owners, particularly in restaurants and retail, we don't earn $250,000 per year, and neither do any of our staff. So the tax cuts that Boehner proposes really has absolutely no bearing on my business or most of the small businesses that I'm aware of in Central Ohio.
The other thing in here that was suggested by Mr. Boehner today was that regulations in general should be looser so that you can do what you need to succeed with government not in your hair and just go out and go into the restaurant business. How many more customers do you think you'd get if government regulations were looser on, just to pick one topic out of the air, eggs?
I think that foodborne illness outbreaks have been a really major concern to restaurants, especially over the past couple of years. Right now it's eggs. In recent past, we've had meat, we've had spinach, we've had all kinds of recalls. The quickest way for me to go out of business would be to give one of my customers E. coli or salmonella. I think it's really important that FDA does tighten regulations, especially in these large-scale processing plants where so much of these outbreaks are actually coming from.
Last point, what do you think government can do to create an environment in which you could expand, you could create jobs, maybe even go and get another restaurant going?
The single most important thing that's been helpful to me has been increased lending. Stimulus dollars have allowed me to go after lending and open actually 3 businesses with new loan options that are available. The other really big helpful thing to me is the health insurance, healthcare reform. It enables me to compete with larger corporate restaurant chains for the same talent. In the past, I wasn't able to afford those same benefits, and now I can offer the same benefits that a larger conglomerate can, and I'm able to attract better employees, which has been fantastic.
Elizabeth Lessner, CEO and president of Betty's family of restaurants, joining us from Ohio tonight. Great, thanks for your time.
Thank you.